Hi, and welcome to LNA Does ODE Stuff. Welcome to another all about Ableton Live tutorial, and today we're going to be talking about Saturator. Saturator is wave shaping effect that adds dirt, punch, and warmth. So basically what that means is that it adds subtle form of distortion that adds nice sounding harmonics. So personally I use it a lot with bass, kick, vocal synths. Well, to be honest, almost anything. So let's go into this tutorial and have a look what kind of controls the Saturator has in it. And let's learn about it. Let's do that. Okay, so what I have in here is now wavetable. I have added a saturator into the track, and I also have a spectrum analyzer in front of me because I just need to explain it a little bit more visually. So we are looking at the spectrum analyzer. We are looking at frequencies. I also have a sound. As exciting as that. You can see it in the frequencies. So firstly, let's go to this triangle here and just open it up a bit so we can see all the controls. So the first thing we are looking at is this screen. X represents the input and Y represents the output. What you need to have a look is mostly at this curve, because what we are doing ultimately is clipping things or shaping the sound depending on what is your purpose when you're using Saturator. For clipping, we use this control called drive. So here, you know, like when you're making a song and it's too loud and it gets red in the channel, that's called clipping. So it goes like, ah, and makes this horrible sound. So we are here doing it intentionally. Believe it or not, but it actually makes things sound good. When we are making it louder, the whole channel gets louder, and that can actually affect and damage your hearing. So every time you are going to control the drive, you actually make the output lower first. So we need to make sure that the output of the signal is controlled same time as the drive is. So when we are clipping, we are also making sure that the output is going lower as well. So take care of your hearing, darlings. So when we apply drive, I usually look at this meter here because we can also follow with that meter is that how is it affecting the signal. I'm just going to put the output much quieter like that, -18 or something like that. So let's start clipping. And what I want you to start seeing while I clip this is the signal right now. This is the single harmonic of the sound. When we clip the signal, we are actually adding harmonics into the signal. So have a look what happens when I lift this. So something's happening here. We have these additional harmonics appearing. So that is ultimately what we're doing with the drive. We're clipping it so that we can add these new harmonics into the signal. Actually, Saturator gives us 6 different ways to shape it. Amazing. So we have analog clips, soft sine, medium curve, hard curve, cyanoid, fold, digital clip, and wave shaper. So wave shaper is something else, so I will show that last. So what these all do is that they color the sound and add clipping in different waves. Ways, not waves. Well, in a way, wave shaping in different ways. So analog clip is what you get, that kind of very soft one. Then we have sine, soft sine, that it's kind of a little bit harder, but still a soft curve when it's clipping. And then we have a medium curve. Oh, it's getting a little bit harsher there. So then we have hard curve, which is much, much, much harder. So you can see if we go between hard curve and soft sine, you can see the difference really well. And the tone is completely different. Much harder, isn't it? So that's hard curve and soft sine. It's more gentle. Subscribe to my channel. Subscribe to my channel. Subscribe to my channel. Subscribe to my channel. And then we have cyanide fold. So you can actually see that when it gets to the 0 point, it's actually been folded back. So that's what's happening here. It's really good for special effects or any kind of sound design that you want to do. So let's have a look. What's the difference between cyanide fold and example soft sine? So the sound color of this is so different to comparing to example analog clipping. And then we have a digital clip. So digital clip is the clipping that happens, example, if you are clipping in Ableton Live. Usually, generally, analog clipping is more pleasant in real life. Anyway, if you clip with tape machine comparing to clipping in a DAW. So this curve is analog clipping here. Very nice and curvy. And then we have digital clip, which is like, thump. It's literally like an angle. And let's listen to the difference between those two. So this is the digital clipping of a sine wave and analog clipping. Much softer, and I think more pleasant to hear. Especially the higher end here. That kind of gives that sound. So then we have wave shaper. Also, we have now new options. So we have drive, curve, depth, linear, damped, and period. How can we solve this one? So firstly, drive. How much the input will be affected by these parameters here. So we put 100% so we can hear how these affect the input. So how is them affecting the signal? So then we have linear. So it's the linear position of the shaping curve. So if we don't have any of the others on, you're not going to hear such a difference. So if I have, you can hear a little bit, but it's not really doing much. Curve, depth, and linear are really kind of working together. So let's just talk about curve next. So curve actually adds third order harmonics. So let's just see, we have linear going on 100%, we have drive going on 100%, and let's just add those third order harmonics, add more harmonics to it. So we still have the one harmonic here, there's tiny bounce going in there, but let's just go for curve. already. Check out that complexity. So then we have depth, okay? So basically depth is, we are doing this thing that we are adding. There's like a fancy word for it. There's a fancy word called superimposed. Is that the right word? I'm just gonna Google it quickly. Fancy words. Superimposed. Yeah, superimposed. Kind of cool name, actually. That would be good, like a song title or something. So basically it means that we're adding a sine wave on the top of the wave that we already have. That's basically it. So this controls, the depth controls the amplitude of that wave that we are adding on the top of this. Oh, sorry, superimposed to the distortion curve. Check us getting fancy with our terminology. And we are starting at it. You can hear there's like definitely can hear it there. And for that, actually, period is going good because period means not that thing, ladies. So it's basically the tensity, so the amount of the fancy, what was the superimposed sine signal. So tensity means how tense is it on the top of it. So let's have it at 100%, and then we just very tense, and check that harmonic complexity going on the high end, and here as well. Look at that. And then we have damp, and damp is this super fast noise gate situation happening, and you can see it happening in the crossover there. It flattens everything, every noise that is in the near the grid's origin. So if I put 100% damp and so on, so you can see when it's 0, it's very curvy. And when I put 100%, it kind of flattens completely there. So let's hear that in action. So 0. 100%. So personally, example, waveshaper is really great if you have, especially bass, like electronic bass, synthy bass. These are more like, because they're a bit more subtle. So example, vocals or synth, like more gentle synths or something, I would use them with them. So we have DC, and DC adds a DC filter that removes any DC offsets from audio that has them. So then we have color, and color actually activates bass, frequency, width, and depth. So it activates actually 2 filters. So the first filter will be controlled with the bass, and the second filter will be controlled with these 3. So frequency, width, and depth. So with the bass, you can actually control how much is this effect, so added or removed from the low frequencies. And high and low. Okay, then we have the other filter, which is frequency, width, and depth. So if you're thinking about EQ, this will make sense. So depth is more like the amount of, so the volume, the gain in EQ. So the amount of the effect on that frequency. Width is a bit like Q, so the width of it. And a frequency is selecting in which frequency are we controlling it in. So I can select example, I could go around about 2 kilohertz, somewhere there. And then I could put the width of it, smaller, 0 or very 100%, or the depth of it. Okay, so then we have left just output selection. So we have soft clip on or off toggle button. So it will add a separate, instead of this, it will actually add a separate analog clipping. And then we have output is the control of the volume of the output, of course. And then we have dry, wet controls, which goes from 0% to 100%. And you can affect how much is this effect affecting the incoming signal. So how much are we wave shaping the situation, the input situation? Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe, please hit the bell icon. Also have a look at the link down below for merch if you like to have one of these kind of cool shirts for yourself so you look cool in your LNA Does Audio Stuff shirt. And also thank you so much for all these amazing people. Which side is it? Who are part of my Patreon family. So thank you so much for being there with me. And in Patreon, I have a lots more of different kind of content and more stuff coming there this year. So very exciting. So see you here next Sunday, because I'm here every single Sunday. Okay, bye.